Hello students, today what we're going to be doing is factoring and solving quadratic functions. And to solve quadratic functions, you need to know how to factor it. And to solve it is to basically find the solutions, which is the same thing as finding the x-intercepts and the roots. All of these things help you to solve quadratic functions. So in order to do that, we need to know how to factor the quadratic function. And in this case, make sure this is in the standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. And in this case, it is. So to do this, we have to do the triangle method. And remember, a times c on the top. So the number here next to x squared, your a will be an invisible one since it's not there. So 1 times 4 is 4. And then your b, which is your middle term, the number here is 4. Now you have to ask yourself, what two numbers multiply to equal 4, but the same two numbers add up to 4? Okay? Multiply to give you 4, but add up to 4. Well, I know 2 times 2 equals 4, but 2 plus 2 equals 4. Okay, so that means these two are be part of my factoring. So here I have x plus 2 and x plus 2. And that's how you factor it. But to solve it is you take each factor, which whatever is inside the parentheses, equal to 0 and solve for x. So you have x plus 2 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. If I solve it, minus 2 on both sides, x is equal to negative 2. And I do the same thing for this. There you go. X minus 2 is considered to be my x-intercept. Now, why do I have two negative 2's? Well, first thing is, I have two factors that equals x plus 2. Okay, and then in that case, we have to look at the actual in the calculator. What does that mean? Okay, so let me go to my calculator and clear everything I have in there. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4. Project. So there is my quadratic function. It's a little bit blurry there. Okay, so in this case, basically this is it. Now, as you can tell, if I want to find out what will be this, and this is the lowest point of the graph, that's my minimum. I can press second trace, go to 3 for minimum, left down, so move your cursor to the left side, press enter, move your cursor to the right hand side, press enter again. And then there it is, that's my minimum, negative 2 comma 0. If it touches the x-axis, and this is your x-axis here, if it touches the x-axis, that means you will have two solutions in which it's the same one. Okay, so this x equals negative 2, that is my root, or my x-intercept of my solution. If it crosses the x-axis twice, in different places, then you will have two roots, or two solutions, or two x-intercepts. Let's look at the next one. Y equals x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so I'm going to factor this. A times c on the top. So the number that's next to x squared is 1. So I do 1 times positive 6. In that case, it's going to be 6. The number that is going to be your b will go on the bottom, so negative 5. Now, we have to ask yourself, what two numbers multiply to give you 6, but add up to negative 5? Well, 1 times 6, well, doesn't add up to negative 5. 2 times 3, well, that's a positive 5, but it does not equal to negative 5. Well, I have to figure it out. Well, 6 can be two positive numbers or two negative numbers. It can be two negatives. Okay? And that works. Negative 2 plus a negative 3 equals negative 5. So negative 2 and then negative 3. It works. So now I'm going to factor it, putting the two sets of parentheses. X minus 2, x minus 3. And I'm going to set this over to equal to 0 because that's what we're trying to find. X minus 2 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Solve for x for each one. Plus 2, x equals 2. And then the other one, plus 3, x equals 3. So I have two different x values. So that means if you graph your parabola, these two are going to cross the x-axis. Or the actual parabola is going to cross at these two places in the x-axis. So let's double check to see if it works. Okay, x squared minus 5x plus 6. And then we're going to graph it. And you can hardly see it, so I'm going to zoom in here. For zoom and then 2. Okay, I'm going to move my cursor a little bit. Okay, well, I just have to play it a little bit here. Let me change my X-Men of 0 and then 5. What I did was I take my window and I'm going to change it to these different points here, 0 and 5. And graph this. Alright, so there it is. To do that, you press window and you can change where your window is to graph that parabola. So I start at 0 and into 5 because that is going to be where my max of where my range of my window of my calculator is going to show. So when I graph this, I can look at here. 2 and 3 is basically my x-intercepts. So there we go. It works. All right, the last one. Now we have 12 plus 5x minus 2. Well, same thing. A times c on the top. 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. And then 5 is going to be for my b. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 24 but add up to 5. Well, let's see. Negative 8 times 3. Well, 8 times negative 3, or negative 8 times 3 is negative 5, so it will not work. Okay, let's try another one. Negative 3 times 8. Well, that's a positive 5. It works. Okay? But make sure, since your leading coefficient is greater than 1, I'm going to put two fractions here. What do you think the number will go on the top, the numerator part? 12. Okay, 12 goes in 12x. 12x on the top. Then I know this works, so I'll put negative 3 and then 8. And then I have just to simplify each one, or reduce each fraction. 12 and negative 3, I know 3 can go into both. Okay, so if I do this, this will be 4x over negative 1, and that works. So 4x minus 1. And then here, I know 4 can go into both 12 and 8. So I can divide this by 4. And then when I get that, this will become, what do you think? 12 divided by 4. I don't have room here, so I'll just put it in the bottom. 3x over 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that'll be 3x. This is going to be a plus 2 because that's positive. Okay? And looking it up, it works. So this is my factored form. So I'm going to write it here. 4x minus 1. Let me get this a little bit more here. 4x minus 1 equals 0. And then 3x plus 2 equals 0. Solve for x. So this one is not going to be a whole number. This is going to be a fraction. And it's okay, because when you solve it, it will give you a fraction. 4x is equal to 1, then divided by 4. X equals 1/4, or you can say 0.25, it doesn't matter. And then I'll do the same thing for the other one. Minus 2, 3x equals -2, divided by 3, x equals -2/3. And these are your solutions, your zeros, and your x-intercepts.